Hello, everybody, and welcome to the April edition of the Mom and Tom podcast. I'm Mom.
And I'm Tom. And yes, like Mom said, this is episode 4 of our season 2, our monthly season that we are doing this time around. Before we get started with today's episode, I just want to quick mention that we have an email and an Instagram that you can follow if you'd like to keep up with our updates on every episode that we post. Our Instagram is just instagram.com/momandtompodcast, all one word. And then our email as well is momandtompodcast@gmail.com. So you can feel free to send us an email with any feedback or questions you have. We would love to read them. So, quick updates about a couple of previous episodes we've done. I suppose I'll go in chronological order here. Like last time, how we made a little addendum to our chocolate tier list. We're going to kind of just give updates about previous topics we've talked about, because I think it's fun for people who have listened to each one to hear the updates.
Absolutely.
So our January episode, if people remember, we talked a lot about a show that me and Mom really like, which is The Crown on Netflix. And just yesterday, we got the unfortunate news that Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, passed away.
The Queen's husband.
Yes, the Queen's husband.
The Crown's husband. Well, not really, because the Crown is kind of a separate entity even from the person.
Yeah. But yes, so he was at the young age of 99.
That's amazing.
I know, it is.
That's
pretty
really
incredible that for anybody to live that long.
Yeah.
Is quite the feat.
Yeah.
So, our condolences to the royal family.
Yeah.
Um,
that is a long, rich life, and I'm sure, now she has to go on without him, and
and she's got to be up there as well, right? She's 90s.
She's got to be.
She's got to be.
I didn't get the impression she was that much younger than him.
Right.
I thought maybe just a few years. So
no, I think you're right.
5 years,
I think you're right. Maybe 95 or
she might be, or
like
I guess we could look it up.
We could. I don't really want to interrupt
the
episode,
never mind.
But maybe I can just keep talking while I type this in, and then it won't seem weird at all, right? She is 94.
Okay.
So, but her birthday is in a couple weeks.
So hey,
So
we were that's
wow,
pretty good.
Look at us.
How impressive are we?
She'll be 95 in a couple of weeks. Wow.
Oh, and he was going to be 100 in June, I believe.
Right. Yep.
They were planning his 100th birthday celebration.
Yep. June 10th.
Wow.
All right. Well, that is the update on that. And then a quick update on our March episode where we talked about the struggles of looking for a new house. I found a house.
Yay!
Yes. I finally found a townhome. I mean, it was hard, not gonna lie. We had to the offer I gave was like so high over the asking price.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. That's what the market's like right now, and I'm just glad that I found a place that I like, and that the location is nice, and I'm really excited. So
yes, and we're excited for you.
Yeah, and that's coming up. My closing date's April 30th, so it's coming up quick.
So and just to let all you moms know, I saw it and it did pass the mom's test. Of course, there's cleaning that needs to be done. So definitely we'll be helping Tom out with that. But regardless, I will say we're pretty proud of him, and we think it's a good choice and a good start for him.
Thank you.
New chapter in his life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, so that covers the 2 updates we wanted to do. Now, you might be wondering, well, what are you going to talk about on the April episode?
What are we going to talk about on the April episode, Tom?
Well, I will fill you in now.
Oh, that's good.
So,
just kidding.
I came over today, and I was like, hey, Mom, I went and saw a movie, and it's like, normally that wouldn't be like a weird thing to like tell somebody.
Except during a pandemic.
But yeah, because of COVID and everything, I actually don't think I've been to a theater in over a year.
Yeah, same here. I
So-
still haven't been to one.
Yeah, it was actually like a weird experience,
Yeah.
but it also was really fun.
Yeah.
Just to
Felt a
do
little
something
mildly
that-
normal.
yeah, right, do something that used to be normal and just I haven't done in such a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes us appreciate things.
And that movie happened to be Godzilla versus King Kong is the movie I went and saw. And by the way, this I won't like give any spoilers or anything for the movie. I just wanted to mention it for context. But yeah, I think the reason that I agreed to go see it is because it's one of those movies where obviously like the story is not really the focus. It's more about the action and
Right,
the
right.
special effects
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I think those kind of movies are the ones that I really like seeing in the big theater
Yeah.
because then you get the huge noise
Right.
and the big screen
Right.
and it's
Yes.
like just all the action like
Yeah.
I would think that like a movie that's more story focused,
Yeah.
not that I wouldn't see it in a theater, but just that I wouldn't feel like I like need to see it
Yeah.
in the big screen. Like I
Yeah.
could watch it at home and
Yeah.
it's
and,
okay.
and it would be just as
Right,
just as good
yeah.
because the experience is definitely different in the theater when you've got big action going on. And
I agree.
big sound.
Yeah,
and
big sound, big
effects, things like that.
Right. And so those are the kind of movies that while you can say, I mean, Godzilla vs. King Kong kind of a dumb movie. I wouldn't disagree, but it's fun. Like it's fun to watch.
And movies
you
are
know?
supposed to be fun. Well,
Yeah, I agree.
an escape.
Right. Inspired by that movie, we came up with a list of these different sort of matchups of like who would win in a fight thing.
Yeah.
But the twist is that these are supposed to be characters who would never like actually run into each other, and so we're
Yeah.
going to sort of avoid the more classic like, oh, Batman versus Superman or things like that.
Yeah.
Things like where they've already fought each other before, like in comics or movies or
Yeah.
whatever. So we're kind of coming up with some sort of wilder matchups. Although I did want to start off with asking you about Godzilla versus King Kong, because I remember before we went and saw the movie, I was talking to my friends about it, and we said that we were like, I feel like this matchup is very one-sided. And in my opinion, it's very one-sided towards Godzilla.
Yeah.
And my reasoning is his fire breath or
Yes.
whatever it is that
Yes.
he, you know what I mean?
just
Like
torch
you would,
King Kong.
right? You would think that he wouldn't even need to get
he's got a
close to
flamethrower,
him.
he's got a breath that's basically a flamethrower.
Right. And then
yeah.
King Kong has just got fists, Yeah. So
Yeah.
you would think
He's
that
brute strength.
you would think that he wouldn't even really be able to get close to him. But
Yeah. Well, it was funny. We were talking about this beforehand,
Mhm.
and my husband was part of the conversation, and he was, Tom and I were both agreeing that, all Godzilla's got to do is breathe on him, and it's over with.
right.
But my husband was bringing up ideas like, yeah, but Godzilla's kind of slow, and King Kong, if you can get behind him and he wouldn't see him, and if he can rip him apart, because I can't remember, I don't know if it's Skull Island or which one of the movies where
Yeah, that's kind of
King
King
Kong does
Kong's
kind of
thing.
tear things apart.
Yeah.
So that is a good point. I don't know. I still kind of I lean towards Godzilla
Right.
on that one. Still.
I definitely do
Despite
too, but
that.
I do like the creative idea of like him. I mean, it is true that King Kong's more maneuverable. Like
Yes. Yes.
he's not as gigantic, so he could
He's a little more
move
compact. Yeah.
a little faster. And I do like the idea of like if you could stay behind him and avoid
Yeah.
the breath, like
And he has
Um,
opposable thumbs, which I'm not sure that.
Right, that's a
maybe
nice-
Godzilla does. I don't know. Maybe he does on his shirt, but his arms kind of short.
his
like
arms are kind of
his short like a
stubby, kind of.
like a
He's like a T-Rex.
T-Rex. Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you want the answer to that, make sure you go see the movie.
Oh, okay.
No, just kidding.
Right.
Not
There's
sponsored.
A plug for the movie.
No, but I do think the movie was fun. I won't spoil anything, but I think it was a fun movie.
Deal.
So, moving on from there, we've got some more, like I said, kind of creative, weird ones. The first one I have on my list here is Gandalf from Lord of the Rings versus Doctor Strange from Marvel. And now, the reason I put these two together is because I felt like they were somewhat similar in...
Well, they're both like
magical
wizards or sorcerers or something like that. Yeah.
So, and granted, we don't actually see Gandalf do a whole lot of fighting in Lord of the Rings. Like, in terms of like magic stuff, I would say, like a lot of the times the magic stuff that he does is more about like he does like the fireworks and he can like do light up the dark caves and stuff like that. It's not really like, like fighting magic, I guess, if you would call it that.
Right, but he does things like he splits the stone to let the sunlight through to kill the trolls.
Yep, in The Hobbit.
And then in the...
Well, and he does that in Lord of the Rings, too, where he knocks down the bridge or whatever.
Yep. You shall not.
Yeah, the classic
awesome line.
Scene.
Yeah. And he goes after... he fights the Balrog.
Right.
And, yeah. So he does that.
So he definitely has some fighting skills that we see. And then obviously Doctor Strange has got some crazy like portal stuff that he does.
Yes,
and
he
like
can manipulate time.
Yeah, he has the time
space
thing.
Kind of, because he can open up a portal and travel
right
to a different place.
Yep.
So,
it's kind of a hard one, honestly.
It is kind of a hard one.
Because they're so such
I guess
different.
I'm gonna go with my sentimental favorite, and that would be Gandalf.
Yeah.
Just because I also think I don't know if it's supposed to be. Of course, Tom and I were talking about this too. That I think we are both at the disadvantage of not having, we haven't read all the comics, we haven't read all the books.
Right. Yeah, we do want to. We should. Yeah, you're right. We should preface this by saying that
we are not experts by any stretch of the imagination.
Experts. So if we are missing stuff, feel free to.
It's fine because yes, my husband has been very free and open with that. We are, there's stuff we forget about and miss and don't consider. So, so it just makes us laugh. So, but it's all good. We're just talking here. We're just talking.
And we're just coming from the perspective of somebody who's just watched the movies, really. Not really any more than that.
Right.
So.
And like when Sauron has him locked up and the moth comes, and that means the eagles are coming.
Saruman.
Sorry, Sauron is the eye thing
correct.
Guy, right? Okay, sorry. See, point.
No, you got
case in point. So I guess I'm just gonna say that would be my sentimental favorite, even though it might be inaccurate.
And I do.
It's close though.
Yes, I do like that you went with him because I think I would go with Doctor Strange.
Would you?
Yep. Because I think the main reason is because when we were talking about being able to manipulate time, he has the time stone,
right?
I think the time stone might be a little too good. Or like powerful,
that could be,
I think if he does something wrong and then he can go reverse back, and then he'd be able to beat him eventually.
But see, in a way, and I get what you're saying, but I feel like in some ways that's almost, I don't know. It's like, I get to go do over. It sort of feels a little cop out.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
And then he can also create infinite loops too, which he does in one of the movies, which is super annoying.
Against
it's like, is that really a resolution? Is that really a, just because you can create this annoying, infinite loop?
Yeah.
Where is that really resolving anything? Whereas Gandalf at least carries the story forward.
I agree. It's the more sentimental pick.
I'm making my case.
All right, and so we actually have a kind of similar one up next, which is Legolas versus Hawkeye.
Oh.
What I think is really fun about this one is because I feel like they're both archers, but from like opposite times.
Yes.
Like you got Legolas that's kind of from like the fantasy old times. then Hawkeye is like the new like tech guy.
Yeah.
And I and so when I thought about this, I feel like on one hand, Hawkeye does have like, you know, all kinds of different arrows that can do different things and stuff, which I think kind of gives him an advantage.
That's true.
At the same time, elves are like magical creatures, you know, like
but you don't see a lot of that in Legolas.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't do a whole lot. Like, I mean, he's got like the crazy vision and like
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So
and the what do you call that? He's very light on his feet.
Nimble.
Yes. There. That's yeah.
But
I
will
walk on top of the snow, which is like freakish.
Right.
Yeah.
But I will admit that his weaponry might be a little outdated compared to.
Yeah, but he's so incredibly accurate, and when he can toss a dwarf. So can Hawkeye toss a dwarf? I
guess we don't know. Yeah.
I'll have to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a tough one because in some ways, I feel like Legolas has, he just has arrows, but he's also, you know, when he does the Oliphant and he kills he takes
down like all the people,
like 17,
you know,
and just the way he does all that. But Hawkeye does stuff like that too, you know. But Hawkeye has the limitations of a man, of a human.
Right, he is a human. Yep. Yeah. And so I do think that for this matchup, I think it could go either way depending on a few specifics. Like when we were when I was mentioning that Legolas has like the super crazy vision, you know, can see super far.
Yes.
I think if they were super far away from each other, that Legolas would have the advantage.
I guess, yeah. So
you know what I mean?
Maybe
because he's not. Yeah,
would,
there's like that's what I'm saying is I think there are some specific circumstances that would.
Picture Legolas with Hawkeye's arrows.
I knew, crazy,
you know, right?
That would be the ultimate archer right there.
Yeah, so it's an interesting toss. Maybe we call that a draw.
Maybe, yeah, because I think it just depends. Yeah. We'll call that one a draw. How about? All right. So this one's kind of a funny one. The next one is Elastigirl versus Mr. Fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Which this one I more just added as a joke because, to be honest, I don't really know much about Mr. Fantastic. I've only seen like a couple Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah, I've never been a big Fantastic Four fan.
No, not really.
So.
And that's the other thing is, I feel like I think I've only seen them. The few that I have seen, I think I've only seen them once because I'm not that big of a fan of.
Yeah,
Fantastic
and doesn't he
Four.
turn bad in one of them? Does he become the Silver Surfer? I can't remember. I thought he turns kind of evil eventually.
Does
Mr.
he?
Fantastic. Maybe not.
Oh. We might be way off.
I know so much.
But also obviously Elastigirl is from an animated movie, which is very different.
Right. Which animation versus real live action. Yeah.
I think for me, I'm gonna go with what you did with the first matchup, which is just like your personal favorite kind of, and I think I'm gonna pick
Elastigirl, yeah. Yeah.
Because you remember,
just 'cause you like her.
Remember when she like slingshotted? She could like turn herself into a slingshot.
Yeah, yeah.
And she shot that. They took
the
like
controller.
A sewer cover.
Oh, that.
And chucked it at the big robot guy and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just some of the things that they did with her character I thought was really funny.
Which would be difficult to do in live action, but yeah. I think the idea of Mr. Fantastic is that he can do all that stuff, but I think they just did more with it because the medium they were working with animation was just so much more flexible. Because she made herself a boat and to rescue her kids and
and she was she could also.
She was a parachute.
Yep, a parachute.
Jack. Yeah.
Do you remember the scene where she was sneaking around the like enemy base?
Yeah,
and
her
she
leg
was like,
stretched.
stretched like all the way.
Yeah, the Incredibles was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a very fun movie. So I'm gonna
with that.
I'm gonna pick Elastigirl. All right. Next one. Okay, this one seems hard to me. Wanda, which is
Scarlet Witch,
thank you, versus Emperor Palpatine. So like Darth Sidious.
I know who I want to win. I said that when Tom and I were talking about this ahead of time. I said I know who I want to win because Emperor Palpatine is one of the most disgusting figures.
Yeah, right.
The way he gets disfigured as he gets more and more evil, it's like yuck, just go away, buddy. They both have that lightning in their
well, that's why they kind
thing.
of reminded me of each other. Is how they both kind of use like sort of lightning looking.
But you know
and,
what?
like,
Scarlet Witch can do other things. She can mess with his mind. Oh,
he
can
too,
do that
though.
too. That's right.
I mean,
that's
people
right.
do that, or the Jedis do that with their little
That's
mind
the
tricks.
control.
Yeah.
Shoot. Okay, never
so-
mind.
No, they honestly have really similar.
They do have really similar.
powers.
You're right. Well, we all know that good always wins over evil, so we'll just
So we'll just go with it.
I'm not sure that that's really applicable here. But, you know.
Well, she was a bad guy at the beginning.
I was going to say, that's what I was thinking. I think at one point she's not always so good.
Yeah, right.
So,
But I am going to follow your lead and say I also want Wanda to win. So
yeah,
we'll
Emperor
say
Palpatine. They do
you know
a
what?
good job.
He's
of
too.
making him yucky.
He's too old.
There you go.
He'd you know.
I don't know why I should be cheering for that because I'm getting old myself.
We'll say that he, not as old as him.
Palpatine.
Yeah, we'll say that he as he aged, his reactions and stuff are
There you go.
slower.
There you
and
go. His response
he's
time
not
is,
able to keep
is
up.
suffering.
Yeah, he's gonna
There you
get
go.
chucked off the edge by Darth
There you
Vader.
Good job.
All right, so next one we've got Iron Man versus Batman.
I
And
totally think Iron Man.
I
Off the cuff, that's what I think.
yeah, I'm gonna have to agree, because when I think about it, I mean they are similar in the sense that they're both like very smart rich guys,
Right.
who they don't really have powers. It's more just like their technology and
Right.
stuff like that
right.
that they
the stuff
use.
they come up with.
I just think that when you think about like especially the later Marvel movies where Iron Man now has like this army of all these suits and stuff,
Yeah.
I just think it's too much. I think he's got too much stuff.
Well, what I think is kind of cool about Iron Man is that his suit is kind of self-contained. He's got like everything on there. He's got all his
Right.
guns and whatever else I don't know what you would
Lasers
call
and,
that.
yeah, whatever.
Whereas Batman, he's got like the cool car and the cool motorcycle and the tools, things
the
that
Batmobile
throws.
and
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the
so
bat
not
things that he
everything's
throws.
really like in the suit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he can't fly.
True.
So
Yeah, he can like glide kind of.
yeah,
but
he can kind of
can't.
he can use his cape.
Right.
And if you go with The Incredibles, no capes.
No capes. That's a good reference.
I don't think I just came up with that. So I don't know.
All right.
I
Well, no, I
say Iron Man.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna go with.
But
Iron
I do
Man
think
on
there's
that
like
one.
you said, they both definitely have. They want to help people.
Yeah.
They have that kind of philanthropy thing going on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then now this one's a little bit different. Kind of. This one is Jason Bourne versus Black Widow. They're both trained assassins.
Natasha Romanoff.
Yes,
I believe.
Natasha
Yeah.
Romanoff versus
from
Jason
Marvel.
Bourne.
Wow.
I don't really even know
I
how
don't know. I don't know who would win. It would be quite a matchup.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how we even go over
Wow.
this one.
Yeah. That's really. I don't know.
I don't know how to do. Again, I feel like just out of favoritism, I'd like to pick Black Widow.
Yeah.
Just because I like Scarlett Johansson,
Yeah.
I like her character too.
True.
But I don't know. They're both just kind of strong fighters.
Yeah.
I feel like Black
don't
Widow's
know.
a
I
little
really
bit
don't know what to
more has some more like techie stuff about her. But also like she doesn't use like big guns really.
No.
So I don't know. I guess it depends on what they brought, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, because all I've ever seen Jason Bourne, usually just uses his hands. I mean, he does have a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, he has done that, like, again, being a trained assassin. They're both trained assassins. They both were kind of trained at facilities when they were very young, so they're kind of similar.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm really at a.
Should we go with the draw?
Yeah, I'm kind of at a draw on that.
All
I'm
right.
not really sure.
Sounds good. We'll go with a draw on that one. We've got. Oh, okay. I'm gonna skip to this one.
Yeah, because we're probably getting long on time here.
Hela versus Galadriel.
Oh dear.
Which is this one is just kind of funny, by the way, if you don't know, because Cate Blanchett is the actress who plays Galadriel in Lord of the Rings, and then she also plays Hela in Thor,
the Thor movie.
Yeah. So
yeah, it would be like we were laughing about Magneto and Gandalf.
Oh
too,
yeah,
it's the same. Ian McClellan plays both.
Yep.
Well, of course, again, I always want to go with good versus evil. That
right.
Galadriel would win.
Hela's pretty crazy.
Hela's pretty insane.
Yeah, like she's got
insane, and Thor has a hard time with Hela, which is
which Thor is super
Thor
strong.
is the god of thunder.
Yeah,
and he can beat the Hulk. So that's kind of that's impressive.
That's how you know how tough she is.
Yeah. So Hela is just like so evil though, and so
as sad as it would make me to see.
You think Hela would win?
I do. No, but this is also coming from someone who Galadriel is like my favorite character, or one of my favorite characters in Lord of the Rings. So I wouldn't want to see her lose, but I think this matchup would be pretty hard.
Yeah,
for her.
It probably would be. Galadriel might need a little help.
Yeah, she might need a little help.
A little help from her friends.
All right. We have just a couple more. Han Solo versus Star-Lord from Peter Quill, I guess you could call him.
I think of the characters, I like Han Solo better, but I also think Star-Lord has I don't know if he has more gadgets or what I'm
again, because I was gonna say again, because he's a little bit more of a new age character. I feel like he has more gadgets.
The technology was
right.
better.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this, but it's like in the opening scene of Guardians of the Galaxy. He's got this device where he like puts it on the ground and then it like sucks everybody in to it, and like there's a bunch of bad guys there, and they all like smack into each other and fall to the ground.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
I don't know. It's just all these like extra gadgets that he had, and he can fly around with his little rocket boots and stuff. And
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
probably Star-Lord.
So I think Star-Lord.
Okay.
I think Star-Lord would end up taking it. And then the final one I have on here is Thanos versus Darth Vader.
Oh, God.
And now the fun one about this one is we were actually, again, this is one that we kind of talked about a little bit before the show with my dad. And we talked about how if Thanos like didn't have the Infinity Gauntlet, didn't have any of the stones or anything, that Darth Vader could just, lift him up and do his
strangle him.
Yes. Force choke thing.
Yeah.
And that I don't think Thanos could do much about that,
Yeah.
But then we were talking about, well, what if he had this stone and then he's able to do this? Like if he had the space stone or the time stone.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be, because like we were talking about how Thanos is a Titan and how strong he is. And
oh, yeah. He's another guy who, I mean, he's strong or stronger than the Hulk.
Yeah.
And Thor and those guys. So yeah.
It makes me laugh. Really these conversations are really so absurd when you think about it. That this is what we're discussing, but it's fun.
It's for fun.
We're just having fun. Yeah, I think in general Darth Vader would probably win. But
I agree.
Thanos is I was amazed in those movies. I mean, he had all of them coming at him, and it seemed like he was able to really
take so many
hits, and like fire, like Scarlet Witch was trying to, I don't know if that's heat that she throws
something like that, whatever it is.
And didn't seem to really phase him, and
right.
Spider-Man was trying to wrap him up, and
and
he
even
just was able to break
what's
free.
the newest girl, Captain Marvel?
Yeah, I mean Captain Marvel. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Captain Marvel.
We didn't talk about her, but yeah,
she's pretty amazing.
She's pretty crazy. Strong.
Yeah, so I was surprised that she wasn't able to take him too. So yeah,
it would be
it took Iron Man, but it was his technology that really took care of it, because he was able to get the gauntlet back.
Yep.
So yeah, but then Thor was able to just chop off his head
when he didn't have any of the stones.
Yeah, when he didn't have any of the stones. Right.
Yeah. Right. So I think it sounds like we're gonna go with Darth Vader, but I think it would be a tough one.
Yeah, especially like you say, if he had any of the stones.
Yes, it'd be pretty hard. Yeah.
It'd be hard.
All right. Well, we had a couple others, but I think we're at a good amount of time here now. So I think we're going to just choose to wrap it up here. I hope you guys had fun listening. Again, all of this was just for fun. We don't claim
certainly
to be,
not factual.
Right. We don't claim to be experts on any of these characters.
No.
It's just we're just talking about it for fun, and thought it would be a fun thing to just take up a half an hour of your day.
There you
if
go.
You're bored.
Yeah. Just something lighter to think about, hopefully.
So just to wrap it up, again, I wanted to mention that you could feel free to subscribe to us here on YouTube, or leave a comment, or even send us an email, momandtompodcast, all one word, @gmail.com. Also, feel free to give us a follow on Instagram. Our name is just Mom and Tom Podcast, all one word. My sister runs that, and she posts when we have new episodes, so you can keep up with all of our posts and things like that.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for listening to episode 4 of season 2 of the Mom and Tom Podcast, and we will see you back here in May when I have my new house.
Yay. Thanks, everybody. Take care.